Volvagia is probably one of the most famous dragons in the Zelda series. Many fans remember him from Ocarina of Time, but could his origins be linked all the way back to not only the first games of the series, but the first of the timeline? Join myself and Dr. Wiley as we uncover the secrets of Volvagia. In Ocarina of Time, we are first introduced to Volvagia by our new Goron friend who also happens to be named Link. He tells us, a long time ago there was an evil dragon named Volvagia living in the mountain. That dragon was very scary. He ate Gorons. Using a huge hammer, the hero of the Gorons, boom, destroyed it just like that. This is a myth from long ago, but it's true. I know, because my dad is a descendant of that hero.
We then find out that Volvagia has been brought back to life by Ganondorf to eat and bring fear to the Gorons and anyone who stands in his way of ruling Hyrule.
Now let's rewind time all the way back to the beginning. In Skyward Sword we are introduced to Eldin, also known as the Fire Dragon. He's a large deity that watches over Eldin Volcano, as tasked by the goddess Hylia, which is later speculated to be Death Mountain. Eldin resides in a cave in the volcano's summit and has the power over the element of fire.
Doesn't this sound familiar? An ancient fire dragon living in a volcano, and since no other dragons or fire dragons from that matter are mentioned in the games, taking place between these Skyward Sword and Ocarina of Time, we can assume Volvagia is the name given to Eldin by the Gorons.
But wait, Eldin is peaceful and helps the hero in Skyward Sword. How could he turn into the evil dragon we know from Ocarina of Time? Well, that's fairly simple. After the events of Skyward Sword, the land below is cleared from evil and the people of Skyloft populate the land below and become the Hylians we know in Ocarina of Time. The Hylians immediately begin work building their kingdom of Hyrule, but that huge castle, all the houses, the towns, villages, bridges, they all need to be built. In Skyward Sword, we are introduced to a few Gorons, some of which seem to be archaeologists and already have a vast knowledge of the land below, and with their ability to be mostly invulnerable to heat, incredible strength, and knowledge of bombs, it would make perfect sense for the Hylians and the Gorons to make a deal. The Gorons mine the mountain for the material needed to help build the kingdom, and the Hylians would help them with whatever they need. Now, say you're a peaceful dragon that doesn't bother anyone and you're used to living alone by yourself in an active volcano. Chances are you don't get many visitors. And the last visitors you got were all evil monsters, bokoblins, moblins, Girahim, and whatever else was inhabiting or visiting Eldin Volcano. If all of a sudden you had explosions going off in your home, which happens to be an active volcano, you may want them to stop and leave as well. But seeing as the Gorons like being in hot places, more than likely they refused to leave. A possible conflict could have arisen between the two and gotten so bad that Eldin started eating the Gorons, and then was killed by Darunia's ancestor. But wait, why would he just resort to eating the Gorons? Well, let's take a look back at Skyward Sword. According to the Gossip Stone found in the cavern east of the Earth Temple, Eldin is quite chatty, so much so that he will even speak of things outside of his own realm. As such, if Link returns to him after learning his part of the Song of the Hero, he will talk about Eldin Volcano and the other two dragons.
Eldin is of the opinion that Faron is strong-willed, and warns Link to be careful in his dealings with her, lest he be eaten. What if this trait is shared between all three of the dragons? Obviously, being known as a deity, you demand some respect, and if you're so strong-willed that you'll just gobble up the person you're having a conflict with, maybe you're not such a peaceful dragon after all, or at least not to those who cross you.
This is just one possible connection Volvagia may have with one other character in the Zelda series. But what if we look into the other games? In Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, Volvagia bears a striking resemblance to Barba, a dragon boss in The Adventure of Link, not only in appearance but in name as well. Their names are identical in Japanese, and the name Barba is in fact retranslated into Volvagia in the release of The Adventure of Link on the Game Boy Advance, as well as the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition Strategy Guide. In The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, the mural found within the Hall of Dragon Roost Cavern, many fans believe that Dragon Roost Island from The Wind Waker is Death Mountain after the Great Flood. This theory is furthered by particular carvings found within Dragon Roost Cavern. The cavern bears a striking resemblance to the Fire Temple, and many carvings found throughout the dungeon depict a snake-like dragon resembling Volvagia. In The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, some of the fans believe that Stallard, the boss of the Arbiter's Ground, is Volvagia's skeleton. The most notable similarity between the two is the similarly shaped skulls. Additionally, a remixed version of Volvagia's boss music plays during the second phase of the fight against Stallard. Stallard, however, is much larger than Volvagia, and Volvagia is defeated on Death Mountain, while Stallard is found in the Gerudo Desert, making this theory unlikely. These two creatures may be of the same species, however. Additionally, Volvagia has 3 fingers on each hand, while Stallard has 5 fingers on each hand. But these differences could be linked to a difference in art design. As an example, if we take a look at the Gorons from Ocarina of Time, they all mostly look the same and share the same traits. However, if we look at artwork from Gorons in Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess, many of the Gorons, if not all of them, have very different looks from one another. Fun fact, although not canon, in the Ocarina of Time manga, Child Link purchased a baby Volvagia from the Hyrule Town Market, intending to set it free. Instead, Volvagia chose to follow Link. Eventually, Volvagia learned to say Link's name and thanks for its freedom, and the two parted ways. When Link returns to Hyrule as an adult, Volvagia has been enthralled by Ganondorf into haunting the Fire Temple. Disheartened, Link was forced to slay his friend in order to both save the Gorons and put Volvagia out of his misery. With its dying breath, Volvagia whispered Link's name and thanks for once again being freed. Later, as Link crossed the haunted wasteland, a specter took the form of Volvagia's disembodied head, suffering grievous pain, in an attempt to lure Link away from the safe path through the desert. Hey everyone, I want to thank you all so much for watching this Zelda theory. If you enjoyed watching this theory, please subscribe and check out my other Zelda theories. And I want to give a big thank you to Dr. Wiley for joining me on this theory.